Hello everyone, this is Ravine. Welcome. This is actually my first video, and I was called to start doing these videos, or I guess they call them vlogs now. I'm really not up on all the new terminology of the modern world, but yeah, I feel drawn to speak perhaps the different downloads or my experiences, and just share them with all of you, whoever is attracted or feels drawn to this channel, and with hopes to reach, to connect, and to help through my own experience, and whatever comes through me, because this is the best way actually to help and to heal others, is just through our own relating experiences as we move through these very trying but very amazing times. So it actually happens to be Thanksgiving today. I don't celebrate. I believe that we should be celebrating the giving of thanks every single now moment, and bringing more gratitude into our lives, and into the lives of others. Really truly being present and bringing that awareness in, of how we are interacting with our realities, with our outer worlds, with our relationships. So, yeah, it's just interesting because yes, today is Thanksgiving. The intention was to pull a card that would be something that I could speak to on a collective level, that would, that others could really connect to. And of course, always, myself. So, I'm a student within this experience, and just really taking all of it in every moment I possibly can, and also to reach out to others and bring that vulnerability and connection, in hopes that others can be vulnerable, and move through their pain and suffering and trauma more quickly, because for so long there's been labels and shame and this path and that modality, and I feel like it's so confusing. We're always trying to do the right thing, and truly what it comes down to is, it's so cliche, but it's like really truly being in this present moment, really truly honoring ourselves in this present moment, standing in our power in each present moment. And I can only speak for myself. I'm learning to do that. I think we all are. As these energy shifts come through, we're all learning to stand in our power. We're all realizing what doesn't serve us, and sometimes when we're really not listening, those things come up very viscerally, very dramatically, very painfully. So we're definitely, I feel, being called to let those things fall away that are no longer serving us, and begin to step more into what and who we are, more authentically. And that is ever changing, because I can't say I fully know myself. I'm fully changing in every given moment. So things come up, and to be flexible with those things. So as an example, within relationships, or, how many times do we, extend ourselves when we aren't full, or, just do things that we wouldn't necessarily choose to do because we're scared of how we might look, or we might feel guilty, or, what will people think of us if we don't show up, or, we have to keep persevering and continue on. So therefore, we're not honoring ourselves. We're really showing up for people, for jobs, for, just, not in an authentic way quite often. And a lot of this is actually, programmed and conditioned within us to show up in these ways. So obviously the first step, I think, is the awareness that, something is not in alignment with you. And, the next step would be really to choose in that moment, right? And by choosing, we are taking full accountability and full responsibility for ourselves. So, if I'm feeling pretty empty and, somebody is asking me for help, or asking, for something from me, and in that moment, I say yes because, I'm feeling guilty or whatever have you, that's just an automatic response. But if we can be more present and say, wait a second, how am I feeling? How am I, how can I honor myself in this moment? How am I actually, am I full? Am I empty? What is going on within me right now? Checking in with yourself. And that really gives you a moment to get into your body, get out of your mind, get out of these programs, get out of the subconscious that's constantly running in the background, reacting to, we're not responding, we're just reacting to any given thing. And this is, survival that we've been going through for too long now. But the more aware and the more conscious we are becoming, we're able to stop and actually say, well, wait a second, how am I feeling today? Or how can I show up, for this person? And we might have to honor ourselves and say, you know what, I cannot, I can't, I truly need to take care of myself. And you might have people fall away from you, which is, that's something that can also be very liberating, because truly, we are teaching others, as we are honoring ourselves, to also honor themselves. And if they can't, they aren't necessarily going to be in alignment with us moving forward as we are expanding into these times, right? The other possibility might be that you do say yes. After having, given it good thought, you might say, I am actually feeling really empty, but I'm going to choose to go and help this person. And there's a key here that is really important, and that's accountability and responsibility. And sometimes we don't necessarily take that accountability or responsibility. We might go ahead and extend ourselves and then have, built up resentment or frustration or exhaustion or whatever have you. But when we're able to take full responsibility, we're able to acknowledge that if I go and extend myself at this moment in time, I am fully willing to accept I don't like the word necessarily consequences, but, the reality of what might transpire if I extend myself at this moment in time. I might be exhausted, but I'm still willing and wanting to show up. And so I think that accountability piece is really important, because in the end, there's really no one or nothing to blame. and not even ourselves. Truly, because we've already acknowledged and accepted full responsibility. So we are aware and we know in each given moment that we're willing to take that responsibility. So, yeah, that's just a little piece of, standing in your power. And that's where I am right now in my experience. And that comes through in relationships. It comes through, obviously a lot in relationships, but also just within the self. Because sometimes, we find ourselves doing things that we don't necessarily, it's not honoring, what we truly feel. Maybe it's, eating sugar, or maybe it's, treating yourself to another coffee when, you just had 4, or, I'm finding, a lot of people commenting on, their usage of technology, and how, it truly feels like a portal for me to get into the whole technology thing. I would go in there and I would totally, forget why am I on here? What am I doing? And be completely lost in the portal of time, of relativity, just everything completely gone. So, are we checking in with ourselves in those moments? Like, what if we're craving sugar and we actually said, hey, but do you really want that? Like, how are you really feeling? And you might be surprised, actually. I get surprised often where, I'll be craving something and I will ask myself, but do you really choose that? And the answer will be no. Or perhaps, I'm on the computer and it's late and I get a little ping of, you're tired, but there's an insistence of like, oh, well, just a little bit longer. But then I tune in, but is this really what you want to be doing? And the answer might be no. So it's not overextending yourself to yourself or anyone else. And it's really honoring, checking in with yourself, being more present. So yeah, all that to say, it's interesting that this card was pulled. I thought I would read the intended meaning to the card, and then we can chat more about it as well. Focus on honoring that which sustains you, those who came before you, and the true beauty and purpose of your being to bring about the harmony that is eluding you. Regularly honoring at the altar is a personal and tangible way to achieve balance and maintain serenity over the next few months. Keep your altar simple. It can be a table with a cloth on it. It can be a quiet corner, a mantelpiece, or even a windowsill. It is your intention to honor the blessings and gifts from Spirit and Mother Nature that is most important, and your altar must reflect that journey. Adorn this space with items that are sacred to you, like flowers, tobacco, sage, or images of your ancestors. Include items that represent each of the elements. You might use a crystal for the earth, a red candle for fire, an incense stick for air, a blue candle for water, and a small mirror for spirit. Your altar is a thank you and a pause for reflection on the gifts from the worlds the shaman walks between. In honoring this sacred space and connection, all these life-giving properties, this sacred space and connection to all these life-giving properties, you will be calling to yourself just what you need in times of uncertainty or confusion. So then it goes on to say, an altar is a sacred place of which to honor Great Spirit. Nature itself is an altar to the shaman. but have your own altar. Having your own altar helps you focus on ritual ceremonies and prayer. It is for the laying out of the ritual tools and for holding pictures or artifacts of chosen deities and ancestors. It is a place of worship and honoring personal beliefs. It is a meeting place between the ordinary and spiritual realms. Honor that which is sacred to you. Make room for quiet time. Dedicate an altar in your house or garden to that which you are aligned to spiritually. Focus will bring desired results. Make time in your day for gratitude and thanksgiving, time for reflection. So, yeah, no coincidence that today is Thanksgiving, and this is the card that I pulled. And yeah, it just really speaks more deeply. I did not read this prior to. It speaks more deeply to what I was feeling and how I've been feeling lately. And I'm here. I'm seeing the feminine and the masculine, and I'm seeing the higher selves. I'm seeing nature, and it's this idea of the altar can be a physical thing, and I think that's really helpful to have. We have many altar spaces. Actually, we do offerings on our land. I have an altar beside my bed, and this could be just simply a collection of special things, feathers, and pictures as they spoke of, and just little things that I've found in nature, along with gemstones and that kind of thing. Sometimes it's a card that I pulled that I want to remind myself. So these physical altars can be so helpful in reminding us, right? But what if also we could bring about, this place within us, this altar place within us, where we could meet to honor ourselves every time, every now moment. It's mindful meditation ramped up, where each I'm not able to hold this kind of mindfulness each moment. I'm not even going to pretend. But this is a journey that I'm passionate about, this type of mindfulness. What if I did this 4 times, 5 times, 6 times a day? What if it just started with, once a day, or when I felt triggered, just to remind myself, okay, can I meet in this altar space? What would I put in my altar space? What would I decorate it with? What is meaningful to me? When I close my eyes and I see, what if I created this beautiful space? And what if I met there, this safe space to meet, to stand in my power? Maybe you're calling in your ancestors, right, for strength. Maybe it's the trees. Maybe it's the spirits of the living. Maybe it's your mother or your sister is meeting you there and holding your hand. It could be a pet passed on or here, or an animal spirit guide, right? It could be deities, or whatever you see as God, creator, angels, whatever resonates with you. What if you met in that space, stood in your power, and asked yourself, what do I need right now? What is honoring myself? What does that look like? And then from that place, choose. How would the next moment be different? I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to be posting weekly, and I'm going to just start off with, I'm doing these card pulls, which will open up conversation that I hope will help you as much as it truly helps me, these beautiful reflections. Thank you, and I hope you have a beautiful day, and you all can stand more in your power in these now moments. You can choose and be well. Blessings.